Hey guys, so as you know, I just got back from vacation in Florida, and we're there for a little bit over 2 weeks, so I like to read on vacation when I'm laying out. I always like to have something to do when I'm laying out, or I'm always in the pool or on the slides or whatever, but we spent a lot of time on the beach this vacation, and I like to read. So I went through, I think, 5 books maybe, 4 books, but I know a lot of people are always looking for a good book to read, or they want to read this book, but they don't know anything about it, and they don't really know if people have been liking it lately. So I'm just going to go quickly through the books that I read during vacation. Maybe you read them already, and we can talk about them, because a lot of the books that I read, nobody's read before, so I have nobody to discuss it with. Or maybe you're looking to read this book, and I can help you out if you want to purchase it. But if you have read these books, follow me on Twitter at Carson_Perry, and maybe we can chat about it. But for the first book that I read during vacation was Girl Online by a fellow YouTuber, Zoe. Zoe's one of the most popular YouTubers on YouTube. She's from England. She's, I think, 24 maybe. She's been doing YouTube for a while, and this is her debut book. Now, there's a lot of controversy around this book. People are saying that she didn't write it, that she had a ghostwriter. But, I mean, whether she did or not, she's a new timer with the book. So you always need a little bit of help on the book. Whether she just had the idea for it, whether she had her hand in writing, whether she wrote the whole thing, whether she had nothing to do with it at all. It was a great book. It's a nice coming-of-age book. Had a lot to do with social media and online postings. It might have been a little too young for me. I'm 21, but I feel like it's more of like a high school read. But I still loved it. I still had a really good grasp with it. Now, it is based on this girl from Brighton, and I want to visit Brighton, so we kind of had an inside look to Brighton as well. And I'm from New York, and she goes to New York in the book, and she stayed at the Waldorf, and I stayed at the Waldorf. I actually used to live there, so it was kind of cool to see her perspective in the book of New York and the Waldorf Astoria. But I thought it was a good book. It has a lot to do with troubling issues that every teenager has. And it was also a love story, which I found really captivating. And there's this huge twist in it. I'm not going to say what it was, but there was a huge twist in it that I didn't see coming. I was like, oh, the book was great. So if you are looking to read this, or if you have, let me know and we can discuss it. But if you are looking to read it, or if you don't never heard of it and you're like, oh, maybe I'll read that, it's definitely a good read. I would definitely recommend it. Girl Online. The next book that I read was Paper Towns by John Green. Now, John Green's a huge author. We already know that. And he's also a big hand in the YouTube community, too. But John Green, you know, he has the Fault in Our Stars, which is just made into a movie as well, which is huge in the box office with Ansel Elgort and Shailene Woodley. And this is actually becoming a movie as well with Nat Wolff again, and Cara Delevingne, which I'm a huge fan of, so I was like, I definitely have to give this book a read if Cara's gonna be in it. So it's about this girl, Margot, and I don't think it's a big secret. She goes missing, and it's about finding the clues to find her. And Nat Wolff is like, Margot is like his god, like he's in love with her, and he goes through all this hassle and bustle to find her. It's based in Orlando, which is another cool thing because I spend a lot of time in Orlando. We always go to vacation there, so it was cool to see how people who live in Orlando kind of see it as. But I mean, John Green usually has these life-changing books. For me, this book didn't have that, like, huge, oh, now I see this in my life, kind of, you know what I'm talking about? I don't know. But it was a good, easy read. I think I read this in a few hours. It's, how many pages is it? It's around 300 pages, so it's a quick read, easy reading level. I think some people actually read this in high school too, because there were some discussion questions in the back, which I actually do with myself. It was kind of cool to do. It's like I was back in my high school English classroom. But if you are looking to read this, I definitely do recommend to read it. The next one is not really a book, but it is a book. Does that make sense? I don't know. But it is sold in Barnes & Noble and bookstores, so I guess it is a book. But it's Pointless Vlogs, the Pointless Book. Alfie Deyes, he is another YouTuber. You guys know him. He actually goes out with Zoella. It was like, if you don't have the money to spend on it, don't. I would say it's not a reading book. It's kind of like the Wreck Your Journal book. So it has little activities to do. Like, let's flip to one minute. It says, Write what you did today with your opposite writing hand and cut every F in the following text. It's just like stupid things if you're bored to go along with. If you're not a huge Alfie Deyes fan and you don't want to spend the money on a dumb book like, that was mean, on a pointless book like this, I wouldn't. I mean, unless you have the time and you're really creative and you want to do the things that he has in this book, do it. But after about like the 10th thing, I was like a little bored of it. And I'm not that artistic, so as you can see in one of mine, it's like, in one of mine it says, draw dresses or draw an outfit on them. That was mine. Clearly I'm not the most artistic and I don't have the time to sit down and draw in these books. But if you do and you love Alfie Deyes, get the book. But if you don't have the money to spend on a book like this and you're not a fan of Alfie Deyes, don't get it. It's not worth it. But the cool thing about it was too that he has an app to go with the book. And I thought that was the best part of the book. You see the pages of the book come to life. But yep, that's it. The next book that I read, which I actually didn't finish reading yet because I didn't really like it that much, it was Nice is Just a Place in France by The Betches or whatever. I had this on my Nook, but the cover looks like that. It's pink and black in life on the paper and hardbacks. It was one of those pointless books, again, that's kind of, they're looking to be funny, but if you don't have the personality, you don't have the humor for it, you're not going to find it funny. You're going to think it's very offensive. Like some of it's like, if you're fat, don't eat. There's nothing as fashionably, you're just not fat. Like, it's just like stupid stuff. And it's a humorous read, but if you don't have the time to read it, it's not life-changing. It doesn't have a storyline to it. If you're one of the people who like fictional books like I do myself, I wouldn't read it. But if you think it's funny and you're old enough to, I wouldn't suggest it to like younger people. So that'd be like a college and older read. But I don't really have that much to say about it. I didn't really like it that much. The next book that I read is Top 10 Clues You Are Clueless by Liz Cusack. And the cover looks like that. It's blue on paperback and hardback. It was a really easy read. Another I would suggest more to high schoolers. But I thought it was great. They kind of marketed as a coming-of-age breakfast club, which I definitely saw. It's about this group of teenagers who work in a grocery store and they're working Christmas Eve shift and a whole bunch of money goes missing and they cannot leave until the money is found. And now these people don't really know each other. They're getting to know each other based off of what they had their first impressions of that don't follow their first impressions. I thought it was a great book, and actually it was so funny. One of the girls in the book, her character's name is, what is it? Zaina Malik or something like that. Zaina Malik. And I was like, this is Zayn, that's Zayn Malik. So I actually tweeted the author, I'm like, was Zaina Malik inspired by Zayn Malik? And she's like, honestly, she's like, you're the second person that asked me this. I didn't even know his name was right out in the book. I was like, that's crazy. But it's definitely a good book. I do recommend it. I would read this if I was you. Thought it was a great book. Another easy read. Read it in a few hours on the beach. But I thought it was really good. The last book I read was the Pretty Little Liars series, the book called Vicious. It's a black book. I think it has some pink detailing on it. I read it on my Nook. Now, I've been reading the Pretty Little Liars series since it started. And this is the last book. It was the 18th book, which is so sad. Those are the books I would always go to and waiting for them to come out. They're such easy reads. I read them in like, maybe like 4 hours tops. But they're so captivating and you want to know what happens to the girls. And I watch a show too and it's completely different from the show, so it's not boring, it's not the same thing. And the last book was really good. I thought the ending could have been a little better. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody. But definitely you have to read the rest of the series to read this last book. But if you guys are part of the Pretty Little Liars fandom and you had read the books and you're kind of over it and you're like, oh, it's getting boring, 18 books and I don't want to read them all. But if you're in the middle somewhere or you have a couple to read or you're getting to the last one, definitely read Vicious. You're going to get some like secure grasp with the series. You know what's happening. Something happened. I don't want to ruin it because everyone's like, oh, it's Pretty Little Liars. But definitely read Vicious. I thought it was really good. And yeah, so that's it for the books that I read on vacation. I know I read a lot, But like I said, I love reading. We had a lot of time on the beach when we were in Naples. When we got to Orlando, I didn't read. We were at the cool Hard Rock pool. We were doing the parks and everything. So I read most of the time in Naples, and I read a lot of good books. But now I'm looking for a new book to read. So if you guys read a book that I didn't mention, please let me know what it is. I'm looking for new books to read. I've read the Divergent series, the Hunger Games series. I like books like that too, but then I like books like the Top 10 Reasons and Girls Online, that those like nice light fluffy reads. So let me know if you have any good books for me. Let me know on my Twitter or down in the comments below. And I hope you guys read these books. Let me know if you read the books, or if you have read the books, what you thought of them on my Twitter or down below as well. And I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.